Hello, you. This sucks. Oh man, I've been like struggling to sleep. I keep waking up. I know you guys can't see anything. It is dark in here. I try to switch the camera view and try to get some light on for you. But it is really, really bad. I guess this is like better than sleeping on the street. All right, we got the light on. Hopefully you can see what's going on here, but it is sucky. I just had to do a weird contortion move. I don't know if you can see how tight it really is. It's like sleeping in a freaking coffin. This would suck if you were in a coffin and you woke up in the middle of the night, like you weren't really dead and they buried you. That's what it feels like. But basically, I know this would not work for two people because one person sleeping moves around. So it's already a tight space. Because the bed doesn't go all the way out. Hey, Carrie, don't do this. Don't. I think I'm gonna have to rearrange the bed, even though it looks nice. I might try sleeping with my head up front, but sleeping with my head in the back, you can see I'm right up at the curtains here. You know, this is a car. It's not like the van, so it's like, and I'm 5'10", so this is like ultra tight. But you can see with my knee, I can barely get my knee up. But it started to rain. I had the windows, I had the four windows open slightly, like a quarter of an inch, so I would get some cross ventilation, you know, so that humidity and stuff doesn't build up here overnight. I hope you guys can hear over the fans. There's like 3 fans running, so at least it's not like boiling hot. You know, it's not like cooking me in here. But this sucks. My leg was like bent over on there, so I had to kind of move actually to get my knee so it bent down, because when it's straight, the edge there wants to cut your leg. You know, this is the front. That's the front cab. My foot is literally at the front seat. I feel like was it Gulliver? You know, he's like woke up and he's like a giant, and he's like in this tiny little space. But that's what it feels. It feels like Alice in Wonderland when she, I guess she expanded in that little tiny house. That's what I feel like. I'm like almost getting claustrophobic. I'm about to freak out. when it's dark in here, you know, it doesn't seem so bad. Okay, when it's dark. Like I was actually, when I was asleep, it wasn't bad because you have your eyes shut. It's dark. You forget the tight space you're actually in. Okay, so it doesn't seem so bad when you're asleep. The problem is getting to sleep, because every time I moved, like when I rolled, I would hit my leg, and then I'd wake up and I'd say, what the? And you know, the TV and stuff is all fine. It's just that the height, you can't even, like, this is what happens when I try to sit up. I know you probably couldn't tell on the camera, but that's like, you know, like in the middle of the night, you wake up and you kind of automatically want to sit up. Well, when you sit up, this literally is, this is the ceiling material here. But see how close it is? It literally is like 8 inches away from my face. So when I get up, I hit my head just like that. And that happens while you're sleeping, because you kind of roll and you move, and then you lift your body up, and then of course you get all caught up in the curtains here. See, I have curtains up here at the front, you know, or the back rather. So I'm like just right up. The fans are great. So this is my first night test, and I'm gonna say that I think this would beat sleeping out on the street, okay, underneath a bridge or something. But honestly, I think under a bridge might be more comfortable than this. But I'm gonna probably end up rearranging the sleeping and then say you can't have 2 people in here. You know, it was designed this way for 2 people potentially. But after trying it with one person, I'm gonna say maybe a shorter person might do it. But the issue is gonna be just trying to sit up. You can't sit up. It's so tight. It's like 1 foot, 2 foot. You've got about 2 feet, 2 feet of clearance. I don't think it's enough. Now, if I remove the bed, like the bed platform, and knock it back down, I might get like a whole 3 feet, which isn't going to be much more, but I might try that, because I might have to make this work, because it looks like I may have to live in a vehicle again if I'm trying to save money. And if I can put up with it, with just sleeping and cooking and stuff, using it as a portable home for playing games, sitting around, but you really don't want to live in a little car, okay? A micro camper, unless you have to, and you're a small person. Me at 5'10", I think I'm a little on the bigger side, for a micro camper, but I watch those guys on YouTube, and they're saying they're doing it. I don't know how they must be small. They must be short guys, because this is crazy. Of course, it could be because maybe their bed has more, more vertical space than mine does. Hey, is it Carrie Taya? Good to see you on here from New Zealand. I think it's the first time I've met you, probably because it's probably daytime where you are right now, right? And I'm normally not broadcasting. Usually it's like 1 a.m. over here. And I'm probably going to try to go back to sleep soon. But what I'm thinking of doing is switching my head up front. See if that makes it any better. Because see, over there might be 3 feet or 2.5 feet of vertical space, which might make it a little bit better. So if that works, I'll keep this bed arrangement and sleep with my head up front instead of at the back. Because sleeping with my head at the back, see the vehicle curves, the ceiling, it actually curves down. I don't know if you can tell that. It curves down a little bit towards the back of the vehicle, so everything becomes ultra tight. And even though I thought that having my feet there where the bend is would be fine, which it is. I mean, I'm fully extended right now, but it's just not comfortable. And one of the things you're going to need if you're trying to live out of a vehicle, you need to be able to sleep comfortably, because that is that's the biggest use for the vehicle, is sleeping in it. I mean, it's nice that you can cook in it, that you can play video games in it, watch TV in it and stuff, but really, if you can't sleep, it's going to be a problem. Lizzie says it's got to be super late. Yeah, it's like 1 a.m. I've been trying to sleep, and I keep waking up because, like, this is cutting me. The board here. See how it's a sharp edge right there? So every time you move, it like wants to slice you. And then I even slept in like a fetal position, which I can fit. My whole body can fit in this back portion here, in fetal position, but then you can't move. And I think humans, while you're sleeping, you tend to move. You roll to the left, you roll to the right, and my arm here hurts, right here on the edge. I don't know if I hit something, might have hit a wall. But what happened when I started to record was it started to rain. I know it's stopped now, but it started to rain. And where I had the windows open, I had the windows open a little bit on the 2 side windows and the 2 front windows. Rain was coming in. So then I had to stick my head up at the front, start the car up, and because it's electric windows, so try to get the windows to shut. But try to do that, trying to switch up front, you can't just sit up and then roll over and crawl over there. You have to maneuver sideways like you're a snake or something. So look at the limited space. So for me to put my head through the front, I literally had to like squirm myself around sideways and then crawl halfway out, holding my body up, cutting myself on the wood here, trying to start the car. And when you start a car, if the steering wheel's locked, you gotta push the steering wheel while you turn the key. So I had to levitate my body, and I think I was getting hurt over there trying to do that. So I'm like, this sucks. If you have to do a quick maneuver like that. But what I'm gonna try to do for the rest of tonight, I'm gonna go ahead and flip my head up front and see if that works better. If flipping my head to the front because see, in my body, my feet will be back here, but my upper torso will be up front. It might feel less crowded and might be a little bit more comfortable because I'll have a little bit more, I'll have like 2.5 feet up there of vertical space instead of, 2 feet. But even if that does work, I know that this is a failure for 2 people. Because there's no way 2 people can, 2 people can physically fit in here if you're just going to take a photo op. And it might not look too bad in a photo. But if you try to sleep 2 people, 2 adults in here, even an adult and a kid, I think you'd have a serious problem. And I think if you tried to do it 1 adult in here, you might be able to do it. My current configuration, another person might be able to handle this, someone who's a bit shorter, smaller than me. But at 5'10", this height, there's just not enough, look at my arm. This is my arm on the bottom. This is my arm at the top. So imagine your elbow, from your elbow to the ceiling. That's how much room I have. And well, I got like another inch there, but so and that's the upper end, that's the middle where it's taller. But if you come to this side here, my whole arm doesn't even fit up. See how it has a curve? So it went down like about 5 inches, 6 inches, So that's the vertical, the lack of the vertical clearance. Oh man, this sucks. When I was sleeping in my van and in the parking lots and stuff, I would see people pull up and sleep in their car, and I knew I felt bad for them. But now I'm like, wow, I've done it before where they didn't even have their vehicle rigged. All they did was they pulled up in the front seat and they lowered the front seat and leaned their body down. So that's super uncomfortable. I felt bad for them, because I've done that too. I slept in an MR2. That was horrendous. I didn't sleep. I kind of tried to sleep. It's more like it, which is kind of what's happening tonight. I'm waking up like every few minutes because I'm whacking myself. But I think to myself, I'm like, well, this is more comfortable than MR2. I actually can lay my whole body flat, so it's not as bad. It just feels like a coffin. It's like, what the if I had to do this for 1 or 2 nights, it wouldn't be bad, okay? If I was traveling, cross country and I'm in a rush, like I'm, going somewhere, but I don't want to stay in a hotel, this is better than, not being able to sleep, okay? But if I'm trying to live in this, which I'm contemplating, trying to move in and live in this vehicle pretty much semi-full time, this isn't going to work because I'm not getting good sleep. And if I'm not getting good sleep, that means I won't be able to work. If I didn't have to work, it might not be so bad. But if I have to go to work every day, 5 days a week or whatever, I need to get good sleep or I'm going to be like crap at work. So I'm going to mark this this configuration right now a failure. But after I turn off the recording here, I'm going to try to move my head up front and sleep backwards and see if that works out any better. Because if it does, I do like this configuration. There's storage underneath. There's room for the bathroom. There's, the kitchen is mobile and it can carry 2 additional passengers in addition to the driver. So it's a great configuration. It's just trying to sleep in it, even though on paper, in theory, even laying down, it works. I can lay down in it. But comfort-wise, doing it for real, it won't work. It just sucks. It sucks. And now I know all those people who have their, they show the husband and the wife or the boyfriend and the girlfriend or whatever in a little truck with the camper top, and they have their bed like this on a platform. Those people are bullshit artists. I'll tell you that. They cannot have 2 people sleeping on a raised platform in a pickup bed, with the bed raised. They just can't do it. If they can do it, they're dead people because they're not moving. They're not having to sit up. If you can't even sit straight up, in your bed, in your vehicle, I think the chance of success of being able to sleep in that configuration drops really low. And also, I didn't show you guys, but trying to get in and out of here, it's like somebody was saying, you almost have to do a leaping dive. Because you can't just step up and come in. I have, the kitchen's been removed, so there's a ledge there that you can step in and climb in. But basically, I come in through the side door there, and I have to. You don't just walk in like in the van, okay? You have to kind of lay in and then wiggle your body up like a snake climbing uphill. So you wiggle your body in and up, and then you shut the door. Then earlier tonight, I tried going through the front door and then coming through the center. That was better. But you have to climb over the front seat, then slam yourself through the center. And that's how you get into the back. I'm like, okay, this is not comfortable. It's doable. And then when I crawled back here, I was like, wow, this is feeling pretty tight. I shut all the lights off. It didn't seem so bad. With the lights off, it does not seem bad at all because you can't tell. You can't tell how tight it is. But then as you fall asleep and you move around and you start cutting yourself on the parts, you might have, if you sand them down or cover them up, it might not be so bad. But I'm just, letting you know my feedback right now because this is a live test to see if this is going to be doable because it's a weekend. I'm not working tomorrow. It's giving me an opportunity to not sleep so well tonight. But I do know I'm going to try. I'm going to try with my head up front. I'm going to cross my fingers that works because if it does, I'll keep this configuration because I do like the configuration. Just for sleeping, it's not so well. Now, if after trying with my head up front, if that doesn't work, I'm ripping this configuration apart. We're going to go back to the original configuration and no platform and design it for just one person and have storage on the side. You can see my little bathroom there. That's how you can tell it's real. you see all these people, like they're sleeping or they're living out of their vehicle and they don't have a bathroom. Okay, that's also bullshit artists, okay? But if you're in your vehicle, you have a bathroom. You gotta have one, okay, for emergencies. So basically, and you gotta be able to access it. I can already think, seeing how tight this was, if I had to do number 2, which this vehicle does have number 2 underneath here, under the bed, you have to kind of manage to wiggle out, rip up the, move the mattress and rip the toilet, if you want to call it that, out. I tried it before, not sleeping, not in the middle of the night, and it was doable, but I don't think you want to do that in real life, where in a real situation where you're sleeping, especially when it's this tight. So, I'm leaning more towards removing the platform and going back to my original design, which was for a single adult, and then storage, which would suck because that means that I couldn't really travel cross country with my wife in this vehicle like this. That's what would suck. It would sleep one person, but not 2. I made the platform and all that to try to accommodate 2 people because it's the only way to do it. The only other option is remove the platform completely, okay, and then have both people sleep flat. That might be doable. But then there's no storage. The only storage you would have is a luggage rack, one of those luggage things. You can put your clothes there. But having stuff like see, this thing underneath has a table. Has like a picnic table, 2 chairs. It's got a toolbox. It's got all sorts of stuff that you need. But if you go with a flat bed for 2 people, that means you're clearing out the whole inside area here so that 2 people can sleep, but you don't have any storage other than what you could put on the roof or behind if you carried a what do they call those things? The little things that it's like a luggage rack, a luggage carrier on the back, so you can carry stuff back there. So it may be still doable if you had to do it, but it would have been nice to just have it like this where 2 people can lay down every day. It was designed to be real quick, no real setup. But just testing it even with one person, this is not going to work, not in this current configuration. So I'm going to go ahead and sign out for now, okay? Lizzie says, agreed, unfortunately may have to remove one passenger seat. Works okay in pickup bed with low cot, but no way a high platform. Yeah, in those pictures you'll see those people, they'll have a guy and a girl laying across the back, and they'll do the picture, where they're smiling and stuff. But then if you note on there, look at the clearance on their head, from their head to the top of the platform, the pickup truck or whatever that they're laying in. You're going to only notice it's like 1 or 2 inches. There's no way those people sleep like that. It's bullshit. If they're saying they sleep like that, I don't believe it. They must be like drugging themselves and totally unconscious when they're sleeping. Because I have here more room than that. I actually have about, my head to the top of the thing. There's a clearance of about 4 or 5 inches. And it is like rough. Even like bending your knee is rough. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. I will follow up tomorrow. I am going to move my head up front. And if that works, I'll let you guys know, because that would be a way to make this configuration work. But otherwise, if moving my head up front, if moving my head up front doesn't work, then you're going to see me take apart all this work and go back to the very simple, you just have the mattress here on this side, and you have the storage on the side here, or no storage on the side, and then just plan to carry everything on the rooftop, because I'm still wanting to try to make this work for 2 people. And the reason it's critical for 2 people is, I'm planning on trying to go cross country with my wife, and it can't just be that you can lay down and it's somewhat comfortable. It has to be usable. It has to be like if you were in a house, you're gonna have to be comfortable. If you can't sleep comfortably in your vehicle, you can't live in it. It's just that simple. If you cannot function, like if you can't sleep, you can't function, and that would make it you can't live out of that vehicle. So if you had a choice between getting a car or even one of these tiny SUV type thingies, like I'm turning into like a micro camper, I would recommend getting a van, even a minivan. Like Little Blue, my 2003 Dodge Grand Caravan, had a lot more room than this. You could sit up, it could handle 2 people, it had all the stuff that this has. It's like a minivan. It's not even a full-size van. That's doable, and that would be tight for 2 people, which I had my wife in there with me. It's doable. But this one, no way. Maybe for 1 person. So, hey Pat, good to see you on here. That's another option. Pat is suggesting getting a small little trailer. But really, this is a tiny little car, and if you start having a trailer, it might be a problem. What I was thinking is you get a little hitch, and you get one of those luggage things that go behind there. But if you're going to do that, if you can get a luggage thing for the top of the roof, that would be better, I think. And the other issue is, like, are you traveling in it, or are you living in it full time? Because if you're traveling in it, you don't need as much storage. You only need for like 1 or 2 weeks. But if you're living in it, that means everything in this vehicle is what you have, And if you're paying for storage somewhere, a storage unit, I think that's foolish. If you're living in a vehicle and you're planning on living in it pretty much full time, and you're paying for storage to store your things, I'm not sure why you're doing that. It'd be better to sell all that stuff so you don't have to deal with it. And you don't have to pay storage fee, which could be as much as $100 a month. For $100 a month, if I had that, I could buy a used vehicle and make a car payment, and get a bigger, nicer vehicle than what I have. So those are considerations that go into effect. For me, if I'm living in a vehicle, I don't want to have storage somewhere where I have to keep paying. Not unless I knew it was very temporary. Like I knew that I would only have to live in a vehicle for like a couple months, and then I would live in a house or an apartment or something. It's a temporary thing. But if I knew I was planning on living in a vehicle for an extended period, it doesn't make sense to have storage for stuff that I'm never going to use or see again. I see that a lot. I see a lot of people when they live in a vehicle, they'll rent storage and they'll put their things in storage and they'll live out of their car or whatever for a year or 2. You just paid like $1,000 or $2,000 or more for storage. You could have probably bought a nicer vehicle. But not only that, all that crap, what I see is they don't go back to that storage to get their stuff. What happens is they end up going broke or whatever, and then they just abandon that's why they have those t-shirts, the storage wars or locker wars or whatever. People abandon their stuff. So they save all the stuff, they become homeless. Some of them are living on the street, yet they're still paying for storage for stuff. Whereas they could have used that money to buy a vehicle or whatever and build it out and live in it. So just some considerations and things to keep in mind if you're planning on having storage. Yeah, Joseph says you can get a plastic roof storage for really cheap. I've seen them actually at Goodwill sometimes for like $50 or so. Sometimes even $25. And I had one offered to me and I didn't take it. But now if one gets offered, I might take it to put it on the roof of this thing. Because I still want to I want to make this work. You know, for one person, I know I can make it work, but I want to make it for two people. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night for now and try my head up front. Because my head up back, it's doable, but really highly, like 100 times less comfortable than sleeping in a van. For those of you who wonder what it's like, it sucks. And if you do manage to do it and you get success with it, share with people how you're doing it. But if you're lying about it, don't do that, because people might be using that information thinking that it actually is doable when it's in reality not. Well, I'm going to wish you all a good night if you're in the United States. If you're overseas, have a great day. I hope you're having a wonderful morning. We in the United States are still on edge. It's like watching a race, you know, the tortoise and the hare or whatever. And then they get to the very end and they're on that last step. And then he won't take that last step to cross the line. And like, cross the freaking line! Everyone's been waiting since what, the 3rd, November 3rd? Everyone's been waiting. The tortoise is like at the line, at the finish line, and he's just standing there hovering. All right, have a good night, everyone. Take care. God bless you all. Please stay safe. Bye-bye now.